My name is Melinda Stevens, and I am the Pittcon 2024 president, which will be held in San Diego, California. I am very excited to be the president of Pittcon 2024. There are so many things to celebrate. First, it'll be our first show on the West Coast, first show in San Diego. We will be celebrating our 75th conference, and we'll be unveiling some new tracks, new academic tracks, and also launching some new ways of creating the exhibit. So we're really excited about being in San Diego in 2024. I have been involved with Pittcon since 1994 when I was a grad student and attended Pittcon as a student volunteer. And being involved with the Pittcon committee and conference week staff and our small number of paid staff that put on the conference, it's amazing to me the number of hours that the volunteers have put in, and I am very honored to have been selected. I've been working with the conference for a long time, and it is something that I've been happy to take on, and I'm just thrilled to be able to be involved in San Diego. I think that it's going to be a wonderful conference, a desired location by both exhibitors and attendees, with a wonderful and vibrant culture for people to experience while they're there, but also a lot of industry and research to pull from to collect a large number of attendees and exhibitors.
How does a community like Pittcon stimulate interdisciplinary sciences? And actually it's these symposia where you serendipitously encounter new researchers and you hear of new research that you have not heard of before that actually accelerates your own thinking. So the technical program of Pittcon really assists the exchange of ideas. And for me, that's also the message I give to my students that I supervise. Go there and don't go to the field that you're accustomed to. Don't go to the people you know, but just go to a lecture where you think, oh, this sounds interesting, but I have no clue what it is. Because then you'll really start to exchange and learn from other disciplines. And then you facilitate that interdisciplinary exchange. And that's why it's so important to get together. Also physically, because after hours, when we meet up and discuss over a cup of coffee what we're doing, that's also where a lot of this informal interdisciplinary exchange happens. I would be looking forward to the technical program. I would look very much forward to meeting up with my colleagues inside mass spectrometry, but maybe more so outside of mass spectrometry. I always like the fact that at Pittcon there are many new technological innovations being presented. So what I would be hoping to pick up in San Diego is seeing some of the new innovations, see how we can integrate them in our own fields.
The nice thing about Pittcon, I'm not coming every year, but I'm quite regular here, is also that it travels from one city to the other. And as a visitor, you of course come here for the Pittcon conference, but it's also nice to pick up the atmosphere of the meeting. And San Diego also for the sciences, of course. It's a big biotech hub. So I think it's a very good place for Pittcon to be organized in 2024. Yeah, so for me, Pittcon is very important because many of the instrument manufacturers present here their latest models. That's nice, but it's also nice to get in touch with the people who develop these latest instruments, because often, as a tech nerd, you want to hear what they will develop next year or the year thereafter. And this is where you really meet the people that are at the edge of what they can do, but they are equally interested to hear from us what their instruments can do, but especially also what their instruments cannot do yet. So I think it's the networking with the people at the exhibition, also at the technical program, where you get new ideas, where you can say what your challenges are, and where you can make new friends and new collaborators.
The interactions between people are much stronger, and the connection's much stronger when they're in person. And so it's exchanging ideas, it's developing new collaborations, and and ideas that I feel like only happen when people are face to face. One of the exciting things about Pittcon is always seeing all the new technologies, all the new instrumentation. I would say in my own research that it's about 50% technology development and about 50% application to biological problems. So it's always exciting to see that aspect of things.
Pittcon also has a Society of Electroanalytical Chemistry, a SEAC, and SEAC has been an amazing vehicle to bring young people who are in electroanalytical chemistry and nurture them and bring them up. And interacting with those folks and those students is really a pleasure. And outside of SEAC, interacting with folks here at Pittcon is a pleasure as well. And so it goes beyond just the science, but the social aspect too is really quite nice. Pittcon brings analytical chemists of all different types together, and we can start talking about these problems, not only problems in separations, but problems in electrochemistry, and cross those, build those bridges and cross them. And so I know I said that I'd keep it short, but it does feel amazing.
For me, the show is always about the new gadgets. So being on the floor and looking at what the latest innovations are. I think like we're having to replace infrared and Raman spectrometers. So what are going to be the new developments that we can expect to see debuted at that show? If you think about the expo floor, you don't get the opportunity to kick the tires on that many instruments in one go unless you're at an in-person event like this. But also for me, it's the chance to meet up with colleagues. We were discussing earlier that in the symposium that I spoke in, I had friends that I hadn't seen for 5 or 6 years because I live in Australia. So an in-person meeting is a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, the main advantages, is really getting a chance to see what's out there. The conversations that you'll hear, the opportunities to sort of mix and mingle, and like I said, really communicate with each other. You'll find people that may not necessarily seem like you have a lot in common, but once you start talking to them about, the troubles that you run into in the lab or the types of samples that you run, you'll find out there's really a wealth of knowledge out there that we can all just sort of learn from each other. The biggest thing that I love about Pittcon is actually working the booth and talking to our customers. I've spent so long in the lab. I see what our customers order, and I, can look at the paperwork and test the blend. But it's one thing to get a chance to actually talk to them and really ask them, like, what do you use this for? What problems do you have? That's really the thing that I look forward to most. And also just sort of, like I said, walking around, seeing what's out there, seeing it in person is, invaluable.
San Diego is a great spot to continue the reboot of Pittcon. And Pittcon has just been such historically a beautiful meeting to get together. I feel like I can recruit students. A lot of my strategic goals are met at the space between people. And that means pull-asides at meetings. That means, sure, at the bar in the evenings. All of the kind of business-to-business interactions that happen at Pittcon, academic, cross-sector to business, government, I just think it's a key part of opening the world back up, and especially for our trainees and the next generation of Pittcon attendees and students that become professionals. Just such a critical element to get out of the Zoom world and back to Pittcon 2024.